My encounter with Jesus is in two parts. The first part started in September of 2017 when a lump appeared on the side of my skin. Sent samples to two laboratories. They came back, no one knew what was going on. So for 4 months we just worked around it. And then I went to another doctor in Wilmington, and he said, I think I know what's wrong with you, and I know a man in Duke Medical Center, and I think he can do it. So he set me up with an appointment there. I went to Duke. The doctor said, you have cancer. And he said, the problem is that the cancer has already taken a foothold in your jawbone. It has started to decay your jawbone. It's losing all of its strength. There's only one thing that can be done at this stage of the game, and that is we're going to have to cut part of that bone out, take a piece of bone out of your leg, put it back in there, hope the whole thing fuses together, and see what happens after that. So they put together a package of 3 operations, and they said this is very risky. The cancer could spread. We have no guarantee, but we have no other choice. So the first 2 operations went fine. They took the bone out and put the other one in my leg, and the third one had to do with a skin transplant that they took from my leg and put it over the wound in my face. The night after that operation, a resident, she stopped in my room and she saw that the skin had not taken hold, that it was not getting its nourishment, and it had to come out, or else the whole thing would fall apart. So she called the doctors. They set up a new operation right then and there that night. I can remember being wheeled down the hallway of the hospital at a pretty heavy speed. After that operation, which lasted about 6 hours, I can remember waking up. I can remember opening my eyes, not being able to see a thing. Not a thing. It was gray. Everything was gray. It got darker and darker. And I could feel the weight of my body just pressing down on me. And then, all of a sudden, I saw a light. The light got brighter and brighter and brighter. I could actually feel my body being lifted off the bed, suspended in air over the bed. And then I heard the words, "Not now." I could feel my body going back down to the bed. The light got brighter and brighter. I could make out the people in the room, the doctors, the nurses, my family, but I couldn't move. I couldn't move. The doctor came over and he said, we had to strap you down because you were thrashing around, and we were afraid that the 10 tubes that were holding you together with these instruments, you would pull them out. But I didn't know what was going on. Pastor Stewart and Pastor Gary, with Donna, came up to see me in the hospital. I explained to them what happened, and they said, you have had an encounter. And I said, what does that mean? And I can remember holding Donna's hand, and Gary proceeded to pray. I could feel the presence of God in the room. I continued to improve after that, which leads me up, up to the second part of my encounter. And that has to do with the people who prayed for me. People I knew, people I didn't know, people who didn't know me. I got well over 100 get well cards. All of them said, we're praying for you. I got a card from the Catholic Church, the Presbyterian Church. They all said that they were doing prayers for me. This card is my example of what prayer can do. The person who created this is a living example of God's kingdom in this world. I have it on my desk. Every day I see it. It reminds me of the power of God's love and how it changed my life. There are two other things I would like to say. One is there are people who played a part in my recovery, should not be overlooked. First of all is my wife. 61 years. She's never had 1 minute of medical training, but for 1 year she gave up her life to work on me. And then there was Larry Reinhardt. Those of you who are familiar with the C Notes Choral Society will remember Larry as a director of quite a few concerts. Now he was directing Disney Dazzles, and he needed somebody to open up the program. So he calls me on the phone and he says, "I hear that you're learning to talk again." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, I need this maitre d' type person, and can you talk well enough to do French accent?" A French accent? I said, "I don't know." He said, "Tell me something in French." So I said, "Mesdames et messieurs, je suis très bien." And he stopped me right there. He said, "Wait a minute, that's good enough. I will send you what you have to learn, and get your tux ready, and you got the job." So he sent me the words. I practiced and practiced the words. 18 seconds it took me to say those words. But I got up twice on the 2 times that the concert was given at Odell Williamson. And when I left the stage, each time I could hear people applaud. I'm thinking, I can do this. I really can do this. So every time I hear the words, let's pray about that, I can feel God's presence wherever I am, in church, wherever, and I can feel it within me. And I continue to improve. Now I play golf, now I play tennis, I do everything I want, and I attribute everything that I have now to the grace of God in my encounter with Jesus.